confidential individual partially, yet you realize, I think the nitwit thing is that he's getting better in this present circumstance. In an astounding new development, Corinne Foxx, little girl of the famous entertainer, Jamie Foxx, has chosen to end her quiet and shed light on her dad's condition, Risa reports. Recommends that Jamie's well-being has gotten ugly, passing on Corinne with a hard choice to make in regards to imparting the data to the world now. Is the ideal time to dig further into the explanations for the mystery and comprehend the unfurling debate encompassing Jamie Foxx's well-being. Great Korean has now focused on the difficulties she looked in uncovering her dad's circumstances, overpowered by a feeling of disgrace and an apprehension about being marked adversely. Korean wondered whether or not to impart this profoundly private, make a difference to the public. The heaviness of carrying the mystery turned out to be progressively oppressive, yet it's vital to comprehend the purposes for her choice to keep up with quiet. The new disclosures made by AJ Benz have worked up an enormous discussion encompassing Jamie Foxx's well-being. As per Benza, James is purportedly managing fractional loss of motion and visual deficiency brought about by serious unexpected problems. The stunning exposure has sent shockwaves across the web, setting off a flood of fan hypotheses and hypotheses. The copying questions encompassing Jamie Foxx's well-being come to the cutting edge as Corinne uncovers the untold subtleties. Is James genuinely confronting visual deficiency? Is what is going on entangled in political discussion? And is Korean unintentionally wound up, snared in its webs? So lock in and get your #1 snacks, as we will examine profoundly about what truly happened. Stay with us. And prior to making any ends, try to watch the video till the end. In an astounding new development, Corinne has as of late approached to address the continuous show encompassing her dad, Jamie Foxx, while fans and the general population were sure, hopefully not by mistake, that James was doing fine. Corinne's choice to shout out was without a doubt affected by the viral disclosure made by AJ Benza on Drew's web recording. Benza, who professes to have had a source in the clinic, shared some frightening data about Jamie's condition. As per Benza, a blood coagulation in James' mind caused halfway loss of motion and visual impairment. The disclosure reveals insight into the serious idea of James' well-being battles. It is fascinating to take note of that Corinne and the remainder of Jamie's family were supposedly educated not to talk openly about his condition or flow well-being status. The explanation for the mystery, as per Benza, is that Jamie's unexpected issues were supposedly brought about by the coronavirus mRNA. Sponsor the ramifications of James' medical problems and the job of the promoter shot have brought up many issues. Ben's assertion further proposes that Jamie's choice to have the chance could have been affected by outside tensions. For example, the film he was dealing with, including Cameron Diaz. Might this at any point make sense of any past explosions of disappointment James experienced on set? Benza's cases unquestionably raised questions and brief further examination concerning the conditions encompassing Jamie's well-being emergency. To comprehend the timetable of occasions, it's fundamental for take a gander at the updates shared by Corinne in regards to her dad's condition in April of 2023. While shooting for his forthcoming film Back in Real Life, Atlanta, Jamie experienced uneasiness and was quickly hurried to the clinic. Sources uncovered on April 12th daily. After his hospitalization, Corinne took to Instagram to illuminate general society about her dad's unexpected problem. The seriousness of Jamie's condition was obvious as specialists at first attempted to analyze the case. In spite of leading various tests, it was accounted for that Jane would remain hospitalized for a few additional days, while extra clinical evaluations were done substantiating the earnestness of the circumstance. TMZ, a legitimate media source, additionally affirmed James' basic condition through one of their sources. These updates feature the gravity of Jamie Foxx's well-being emergency and proposition looks into the difficulties looked by both him and his family given a progression of fans, and the different assertions made it turns out to be progressively obvious why Flo Fox decided to end her quietness, the large number of updates and clashing data coursing about Jamie's condition, requested a more extensive explanation. Corinne's choice to address what is happening expects to give lucidity and straightforwardness, while scattering any deceptive data. The reality of Jamie Foxx's condition became apparent when his family, including the people who were not in Atlanta at the time, needed to quickly fly in to be close by of the clinic on Tuesday morning. A health-related crisis happened to Jamie, who had been dealing with a film close by Cameron Diaz in Atlanta. He was quickly shipped to the emergency clinic, and the weightiness of the circumstance was to such an extent that relatives from outside Atlanta raced to go along with him in spite of the family's appearance and their unmistakable direness. There was no authority proclamation from the family or the clinic in regards to the specific idea of the difficulty. Rumor inside well-known Gotham buzzes around proposed a cerebrum-related inconvenience, possibly a cerebrum drain. This talk built up forward momentum because of the way that Jane was not moved to the clinic in a crisis vehicle. Another insider near Jane indicated that the mind drain hypothesis arose when specialists had depleted any remaining symptomatic choices for Jamie's extreme migraines anyway. At the time, it appeared as though a stretch, as there was restricted data accessible from dependable sources, passing on everybody to depend on Sybil hypothesis. Amidst clashing reports, an absence of true word news arose that James' condition was improving, and that the difficulty was minor. As per specialists, a minor mind drain can be settled, assuming that distinguished early anyway. The circumstance remains covered in secret because of the conflicting data from different media sources, with no authority articulation from Curran or any approved delegate. 3 weeks into his hospitalization, an update was at long last shared. Jamie Foxx was still under close perception, and specialists kept on observing his condition following the baffling health-related crisis. The mind drain talk neither got affirmation nor refusal from true sources, further adding to the ambiguities encompassing Jamie's well-being. Circumstance. Page 6 announced that specialists were directing tests while James stayed conscious and ready. He was being held under perception. Yet the internet-based scene was overwhelmed with disconnected data about James' well-being, leaving everybody confused and uncertain what had really happened. The shortfall of true correspondence from the family raised doubts, yet what added to the intricacy of the circumstance was the overflow of data shared by Jamie's co-stars and companions in the public. The public proclamations simply added to the disarray as everybody attempted to sort out reality from the fragmentary and frequently incongruous subtleties accessible during the time of vulnerability. The Fox family stayed in a condition of concern and vulnerability, uncertain of the genuine state of their dearest. Jane Natasha Blasek, an update imparted to diversion this evening, communicated her profound stress over Jamie's health-related crisis. She unveiled that she had contacted one of his dear companions by means of instant message, looking for consolation about his prosperity. Fortunately, the companion answered, consoling her that Jane was without a doubt recuperating, and that all eventual great, despite the fact that Natasha didn't get an individual reaction from Jamie. The insight about his recuperation furnished her with a liberating sensation. He recognized the force of petition and accentuated the significance of esteeming the current second, given the flighty idea of life among the numerous superstars offering their help. Kevin Hart, who had as of late worked with Jamie Foxx, offered his thanks for their kinship and the capacity to determine the status of one another. He recognized Jamie's tendency for security, yet referenced that he had heard good updates in regards to his well-being. Kevin and others encouraged individuals to keep Jamie in their viewpoints and supplications, accentuating the significance of his recuperation. Anyway, these explanations were very obscure and ceased from uncovering explicit insights concerning Jamie's condition or the idea of his recuperation. Moreover, various stars took to virtual entertainment to send their warm words and urge their devotees to petition God for James' recuperation. Kerry Washington, for example, posted a message communicating her affection and backing, while David Allen Greer tweeted his requests for Jamie quick recuperation. D.L. Hewley and numerous others likewise share their help and requested good considerations and petitions to God. Then again, twists, a disputable figure, excused the updates given by Jamie's loved ones, guaranteeing that they were just endeavors to bamboozle the public. He reprimanded Flo proclamations about Jamie's condition, trusting them to deceive. As per Ben's, the mystery encompassing James' well-being was a work to conceal the genuine reason for his condition, which he guaranteed was connected to the immunization, in spite of James' accounted for hesitance to take it. Ben's new assertions charged that Jamie's condition was after effect of a stroke brought about by a blood coagulation in a vein, bringing about the impacted piece of his mind being harmed. He asserted that the results of such a condition were serious anyway. Ben's likewise raised questions about the inspirational vibe kept up with by James' companions, taking note of that they all underscore the requirement for petitions and recuperation. Without giving substantial reports on his headway, the disclosures made by Ben's have ignited extraordinary hypothesis and worry among fans, with some doubting whether Janie's condition is hazardous. Individuals have likewise begun partner his medical problems with the immunization alarm that is circled anyway. It's essential to take note of that these cases stay unconfirmed and based